Hi everyone, I'm Christine from Tessellate Textiles, and today I wanted to share my very first tutorial with you. It's how to make and mark Baptist fans for hand quilting. I've marked them on my quilt. Hopefully you can see that. I've put these arcs, they're about 2 inches apart, and they're hand quilted using size 12 thread. I'm going to start by just reviewing the tools that you need, and then I'll walk you through step by step. I hope you find it helpful. In terms of supplies, the first thing you need is a flexible chopping mat. Cut it into a strip that's about 2.5 inches wide. We'll then use a 1/8 inch hole punch, and that will be used to punch the holes out. I used an error erasable fast fade marker to make the markings on my quilt, and then went over those lines using a hair marker. You could use a water-soluble marking tool, but just be really careful that it's not going to leave any marks or stains on your quilt. It's best to try it on another fabric first. I used a Sharpie just to mark the holes on the chopping mat to be punched out, and a mechanical pencil, an empty mechanical pencil, to use as an anchor. Looking at my fans, each one has 4 arcs. Each arc is spaced about 2 inches apart. So when I make my tool, I'm going to make 5 holes. The first hole is used as an anchor point, and then each subsequent hole is for each arc. Okay, I'm using a piece of fabric instead of a quilt, but now I'm going to show you how to use this tool. So we're going to take that innermost point and try to stick it at the bottom corner. We're going to anchor it there with our empty mechanical pencil and start making our markings. So I'm using an air erasable marker, and I'm going to start with the next hole. I'm going to put it in and just bring that arc all the way down. And repeat that with each of the 4 other holes that I have to make 4 arcs on my quilt. You can see how beautiful these lines have turned out for hand quilting. Okay, when we go to make the next one, we're repeating the process. So I'm going to anchor my tool on the same line as the first fan. And then once again, I'm going to put my marker in and bring those arcs right up against the first fan. When I get to the last fan, again, I place my tool on the same line that I started, and I just go up against the last fan again. The only thing is when the lines kind of come off the quilt, it's okay. You just go as far as you can on your quilt, and then you stop. And there's the last arc on the line. And now I just want to skip and show you how to begin the second and subsequent rows. I think that's the trickiest part. Okay, when you start the line, you want the outermost arc of your fan to end right in this groove that I'm marking here. So I take my tool and I've got that outermost hole. I'm going to put it right where those 2 fans intersect. And then I'm going to take my mechanical pencil on the same kind of line and anchor it off the quilt. You can see how it's all in line there. And then I start with that outermost hole, and I'm going to take it, put my marking tool in there, and go right up and across my quilt as far as I can go. And then I go into the next line and repeat that and do as many lines as will actually fit on the quilt. In this case, there's only 2, and that's fine. And there you go, you have your first fan. That's the hardest part. Then when you do the next fans, you're going to anchor your tool right in between where those 2 fans intersect, and just do exactly what we'd been doing before. Okay, and then once I've got all my fans marked, I mentioned before that I take a hair marker and just go over my lines. And that's so that when these marks fade, I've got some good groovy markings for me to quilt. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial on hand quilting. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or don't hesitate to send me a message.